Good afternoon. I saw Stephen A. Smith's podcast last night when he was going in on Will Smith. And he I'm going to just talk, paraphrase a lot. And basically the gist of his podcast, or that segment, first he started off saying that, he promoted, kind of like gave a promotion to Will Smith and Martin Lawrence new Bad Boy edition, continuation movie, Bad Boy Ride or Die. And then he made some disparaging remarks about the sales, the pre-sales weren't up to snuff, that they were actually plummeting or whatever. He used that word plummeting, or might plummet. I think it was something like 40 million pre-sales. They were at 40 million pre-sales, I believe, prior to him making that podcast, doing the podcast. So his content was just basically on Will Smith. And I'm not going to go too long. I just wanted to cover this because it was just, I thought about it. It's just kind of like, I kind of had a cringing moment. Because I try to give Stephen A. pass a lot of times. Often I sit back and I say, what's going on with him? Why did he come up and why do you want to talk about that? And it's been documented time after time. Stephen A. Smith has a lot of vigor and zeal towards when he's criticizing African American athletes. And you can even say that his latest situation with Monica McNutt in regards to the WNBA and its popularity and coverage now as opposed to it was a few years back. And Stephen A. Smith was going in and saying that who's done more promotion of the WNBA than I have. And so they had a little back and forth that went on. And Stephen A. Smith went on his podcast again in regards to Monica McNutt, proclaiming his love for her. This is nothing personal. I just had to correct her on some things that she said. I couldn't let it go unchecked. Blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. So, right now, I'm just giving you the backstory. So right now, it's like I said before, I've always had Stephen A.'s back, always supported him. Because I quite frankly, I think he's entertaining. You know what I'm saying? I think he brings a lot to the table. I've been watching him for a while. I don't always agree with his takes. I don't always agree with his, his soliloquy and all that. But I find myself often agreeing a lot more with him than against him. So I would be, I have to disclose that. But in this case, you hear all the people like Kwame Brown saying that Stephen A. Smith always targeted how he goes in on black athletes and in regards to maybe their, transgression, so to speak, and how his zeal and his energy is a little bit amped up when it comes to the black athlete. Now, you can play devil advocate with that and say, well, Stephen A. Smith is black himself, and maybe he feels that he wants, the disappointment in when they had these opportunities, and he can't figure out, why is it always happening to certain individuals. They put themselves in the crosshairs a lot. So you got to. That's another part of it too, that I think sometimes he stands on. He might not admit it, but I think he does kind of, goes hard because he feels like you got opportunity, you're blowing it, you need to wise up. And it's almost like, a hard, tough love lecture, being, he's going in, but he's really, I think his intentions are more or less good, trying to get the individual to get it, to wake up. And he's not trying to destroy an individual. I don't think he has any malicious personal reasons to destroy athletes, in particular black athletes. But he does, he everything he does is dramatic. He is a TV show. The First Take is seen by a lot of individuals in the morning, and a lot of people tune into that show. And so he has a huge platform, and he's got power on that platform where he can kind of go in and have a commentary. And I don't think any of his co-hosts will. They will say something like Monica Minette rebutted something, but as you know, when Max used to be on the show, Max Kellerman, they always butted heads, and Stephen A. Smith ultimately said he went to the bosses and said enough is enough. I can't work with him. Apparently, allegedly. So, but he did say it out of his mouth. He went to the bosses on Max Kellerman. So, he goes in talking about back to Will Smith that he owes Black America apology, basically saying to reference what was his mindset when he did that. They need to know. You need to let them know what was your mindset or why did you slap Chris Rock? And I just thought doesn't owe me an apology. I mean, why you're speaking for all of Black America? I mean, we all saw it, 2 years ago. So in 2 years, he has came on his platform and issued a public apology towards Chris Rock. He did extend his hand up Chris Rock as far as meeting up or whatever and discussing that event. And at this present time, I don't believe Chris Rock has said he not right now. He's not ready to do that right now. So that he doesn't owe anything to the Black American. He owes it to Chris Rock. Now, Stephen A. roped in all these other people, like the person who produced the Oscars. His name escapes me at this time. The African American gentleman. It was his first time actually choreographing, and this was his event. Promoting or putting the Oscars together. Producing that whole show and everything, which was an excellent job. And it is kind of foul that happened on this guy's day, his time to showcase his work to the world and what he can do and what African Americans can do. And I kind of that is unfortunate what happened. You had some people that caught some strays regarding their work. This was their production, and that happened on their watch. So it is what it is. But I don't know, man. It's crazy. How do you feel out there? I don't know. This is one that I don't know. It's crazy. It's crazy. Anyway, peace.